Good morning. Today we are going to discuss an interesting poem by Robert Frost. So let's start. Are we living in the present? Are you anxious about future? True happiness is to enjoy the present without being too anxious about the future, right? When it comes to seeking happiness in the present, can nature help us? Here is a poem where the poet urges the reader to experience joy and pleasure that the natural springtime delights offer. Before getting into the poem, let's discuss about the author Robert Frost. Shall we start? Okay. Now let's discuss about the author Robert Frost. Robert Frost is an American poet. He is much admired for his realistic verse that depicts the rural life of New England. Some of his most notable works are The Road Not Taken, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, A Boy's Will, and After Apple Picking. Mending Wall is a notable work. He won Pulitzer Prize 4 times and was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature 31 times. We can also say that he is a nature poet. His poem begins with delight and ends in wisdom. In his poems, we can see the natural elements. So that's why we are saying that he is a nature poet. Understood? So Robert Frost is a nature poet who always depicted nature in his poems. So let's start our poem. A Prayer in Spring by Robert Frost. Oh, give us pleasure in the flowers today, and give us not to think so far away. As the uncertain harvest keep us here, all simply in the springing of the year. Oh, give us pleasure in the orchard wide, like nothing else by day, like goes by night. And make us happy in the happy bees, that swarm dilating round the perfect trees. And make us happy in the darting bird that suddenly above the bees is heard, the meteor that thrusts in with needle bill, and of a blossom in mid-air stands still. For this is love and nothing else is love, the which is reserved for God above, to sanctify to what far ends he will, but which it only needs that be fulfilled. So let's discuss each stanza. Oh, give us pleasure in the flowers today, and give us not to think so far away. As uncertain harvest keep us here, all simply in the springing of the year. So in this stanza, poet is explaining that life is uncertain and don't bother about the uncertainties of future. He is saying that please give us the power to enjoy the present. So he hopes for us to admire the flowers today. This lyric at its most basic level provides a concise summation of the poem's major idea. So here the poet is inviting his audience to become delighted in the present. So let's get into the next stanza. Oh, give us pleasure in the orchard wide, like nothing else by day, like goes by night, and make us happy in the happy bees, the swarm dilating round the perfect trees. So in this stanza, he mentions beautiful flowers in the orchard in the first line. These will eventually mature into fruits, which will hopefully be harvested in the winter. The white flowers are described as goes by night by the speaker. So in this stanza, the poet says that be like bees. Bees are fetching nectar with happiness because they are not worried about future. So here the poet is praying to God to give happiness like the bees who find happiness when they fetch nectar from the flowers. Understand? So let's get into the next stanza. And make us happy in the darting bird that suddenly above the bees is heard, the meteor that thrusts in with needle bill, and of a blossom and in mid-air stands still. Again, the poet then goes on to describe another element of his environment. Robert Frost talks about a darting bird. However, the bird's bill is referred to as a needle in line 3. This suggests that the speaker is gazing at a hummingbird. It can be heard over the swamp and adds to the scene's minimalism and beauty. So here the poet praying to God to get that happiness like hummingbird who fetch nectar from the flowers. Let's get into the last stanza. For this is love and nothing else is love, the which it is reserved for God above, to sanctify to what for ends he will, but which only needs that be fulfilled. So in this stanza, the speaker's reason for sharing these delights with people around him is explained in the fourth stanza. He still says the spring season is short and temporary, so try to love, enjoy the natures, because nature is a supreme, nature is a power. So try to enjoy the beautiful things in nature and don't worry or anxious about future. Life is uncertain and don't bother about the uncertainties of future. So the poem itself is a prayer to God, where poet requests to God to give us strength to enjoy the present. So here the poet is inviting his audience to become delighted in the present. So here the main idea, the speaker in Frost's poem, A Prayer in Spring, is making an uncomplicated invocation focusing on love and gratitude. He is addressing to the supreme power and requesting that he and his fellow beings be afforded the foresight and ability to appreciate the current season's qualities. I already said this poem is in a form of prayer. To whom? To God, where poet requests to God that to give us strength and to enjoy the present. Give us strength to enjoy present. So the poet here is inviting his audience to become delighted in the present. So this is a form of prayer. So he is asking God or praying to God that please give us the power to enjoy the present. Poet is comparing the happiness of bees, hummingbird and all natural things because he wants that happiness. So he is praying to God that please give us the happiness of bees and hummingbird who are fetching nectars from flowers. So try to be, he's saying that try to be happy like the bees who are fluttering around or who are fetching nectars from the flowers because they are not worried about future. So let's discuss about poetic devices. Alliteration. So here the alliteration is stands still. Then simile. The white orchard are like goes by night. So what is simile? Comparison of one thing with another thing of a different kind is simile. So here the simile is the white orchard are like goes by night. Metaphor. Here the metaphor is the darting bird is a metaphor. So alliteration, simile, metaphor all can see from this poem. So next rhyming scheme. So here the rhyming schemes are A, B, B. What are the rhyming words? Today, away, here, ear, white, night, bees, trees, bird, herd, bill, still, love, above, will, fulfill. These are the rhyming words from the poem A Prayer in Spring by Robert Frost. Now let's discuss some questions from this poem A Prayer in Spring by Robert Frost. So who does the poet address in the first line? Yes, God. It is poet addressed to God. Second question, who are referred to as us here? Yes, farmers or common man is referred to as us here. Why does the poet use today instead of today? To give emphasis to present moment, because poet says that be in present and don't be anxious about future. Next question, where is the poet and what is happening around him? Poet is in the field and his fellow farmers are around him because fellow farmers are listening to poet's prayer. What's his prayer? He is praying to God that give us the strength to enjoy the present things in our life. Okay. Next question, what is a pleasurable sight? The pleasurable sight, first pleasurable sight is that of flowers. Okay, now answer the next questions your own. I hope you all understood. Thank you so much.